Well, hello there, my friends. Welcome to another episode here in Graviteam Tactics Mius Front, the LSAH campaign. We finally got some tanks to use here, folks, but we had to remain on the defensive. And unfortunately, a lot of our positions are over here in this dried up creek bed. And I feel like it's going to be very hard for us to be as effective as we'd like. We have put the tanks out here in the open, but primarily because I think our tanks are superior to enemy tanks, and we're going to be able to see them pretty quickly. The rest of our guys are over here, of course, in these areas where I don't think they're going to be of much use. That being said, we've ambushed the enemy in this area before and managed to get a lot of kills, so who knows. And what I am going to do is move some of these machine gun units up here, some of these mortar units over here as well, and eventually we will make contact with the enemy. As I usually do in these series, guys, I will be back when contact begins. Alright, guys, right away we have contact with the enemy. It looks like they are at this dacha right near us. And it kind of makes sense because this is where they tried to break in before. Now, it says we have a vehicle lost, but yeah, I don't think that's going to be a tank. I think it's going to be a mortar. Sure enough, it is. But we're still searching for enemies. We know there's some in that house. But if there's some in that house, there's got to be more even closer. Still looking for them. Come on now, boys. We also sent out these troops over here. I'm sending them out on sort of a scouting mission ahead of our tanks, so that if the enemy makes contact with them, we'll know exactly where to open fire. Of course, it is a pretty risky bit of business here. Alright, boys, contact has been established. We've got enemy armor right in front of us. I, of course, want to move these tanks as quickly as possible this way. Pretty much going to aim out this way. We've got some enemy infantry on the right side, but again, I want to focus on armor, not infantry. We may have killed one of the enemy tanks. I see some smoke out there. Where there's smoke, there's fire, as you know. So there might be a destroyed tank out there, or maybe, you know, just some sort of explosion. Another thing we just noticed, there are enemy trenches out there. I didn't realize that the enemy was this close, but it's pretty obvious. It's becoming clear that they are. So we're actually going to go ahead and do an attack in this direction. Looks like our machine gunners and the infantry over here are going to be able to hold the enemy off. You'll see that machine gun firing away. And it looks like any enemies trying to cross the area here are going to be getting a face full of lead. At least that's what we're hoping for here. I think this conclave fire here, firing from separate directions, is going to really help us to take out as many enemies as we can. That being said, I'm mostly concerned with enemy armor. That's what I really want to destroy. We'll see if we don't get to it, guys. Still see some consistent shots coming from over here, and it's definitely got me a little bit worried. We might take one of these STUGs and send them over here instead. So we'll have one of these guys focusing on the enemy machine guns, AT guns, whatever the hell they have here. And the rest of our tanks will advance towards the enemy's armor as well. Let's get over here to Orodka. Again, this is where the enemy had some units, but look at that. Our machine gun has already done short work of plenty of them. Let's hope they can keep it up. Okay, this is bad. So enemy is firing at us with mortars, etc. Trying to knock out this unit. I don't think our infantry is going to be very effective here. We need to find enemy armor if we want to do anything. Come on, boys. Maybe one of our tanks can spot the enemy. They do seem to be firing in that general direction. But let's keep in mind that this is an enemy trench line too. So who knows what they've got in this area that we're looking at. There we go. We've already got targets, as you can see. Oh yeah, I think one of our tanks is definitely spotting the enemy armor. Because he's taking shots directly in front of him. And you can see over here our men got pulverized by that artillery strike. Absolutely pulverized. So we need to get some vengeance for this. Let's go for it, boys. Feuer! For the Liebstandarte, boys. See that armor off in the distance? Man, the enemy artillery is devastating on this battle. Just devastating. Any artillery caught in its path are immediately destroyed. Look at that. We got plenty of other armor here, but it just doesn't look like we're getting the best hits we could, let's say. Come on, boys. There we go. Direct hit on the T-34. But again, it's probably going to take a lot more than a single hit to knock these guys out. There we go. Another hit on the side. Did we kill her? I think we did. We killed one of them, guys. It's definitely a start. I would have liked to see her go up in flames, but we're going to have to take what we can get. I think it's also important for us to keep an eye on these AT guns over here. They could absolutely be a threat, and it's one of the reasons I brought the infantry up. I wanted them to fire at the AT guns while our tanks move towards the trench, and that looks like that's exactly what they're doing. But I think that's got to be a few hundred meters. It's going to be hard for us to get a perfect hit. Looks like specifically a mortar, not an AT gun. But there we go. We did get one hit. And who knows? Maybe over here there is some ammo crates. That could be an AT gun location. See how the infantry battle is shaping up, and I think we still dominate this sector. The enemy, despite being in the Ordivka area, has not been able to secure it. And I think it's pretty much because we just have consistent fire on them. Alright, one enemy tank down. Of course we want to try and get more. And so far, we haven't lost any tanks. That's making me a little confident. As far as I know, we don't even have any tanks that have stopped or anything like that. There we go. Got some nice hits on those guns. But it looks like specifically it was that one shot that really did the damage to these guys. They're not taking much more after that, and I think it's because of the distance. But as you can see, we're already getting close. Oh boy, look at that. Look at that. We got enemy guns. We got enemy tanks. They are right in front of us. Right in front of us. Over here by the trench. I'm going to try and target them, but the enemy might be able to destroy us here. I don't know. I really don't. We need to act quickly. Hyman, just stop. Stop, Hyman. We gotta turn these guys around. There we go. Alright. See that tank? And again, with the STUG guys, this is not a very movable turret. If we want to fire at the enemy, we really have to be pointed directly at the enemy. And I think we just knocked another tank out. Yes, we did, guys. That's number 2. And again, this one is just kind of abandoned. No, he's still in combat. He's still in combat. Keep shooting. Keep shooting, boys. But the first one we attacked was abandoned. I'm guessing this could be the same. Could be the same for this one. What are you doing, you fool? Here we go. Guessing that this smoke might be covering our shots. There's a hit. But I think we should be able to hit this enemy. He's pretty damn close. Still got enemies there in the trenches. I'm trying not to get too close to their trenches because that could result in getting an AT grenade thrown on our tank, and you know that would end our fun pretty quickly. I'm going to try to keep our distance with our tanks. Come on, Stola. Both of you guys should be able to knock this guy out. Come on, man. Again, I'm not sure why he decides it's a good idea to turn or to start moving here, because it's not. Come on, guys. You got this. You got this. There we go. Direct hit. At that distance, we had to get a penetrating shot. Yeah, I think he's dead. I'm not 100% sure he's dead, but I think he is. Still got consistent fire going over there at Ordivka, boys. And I'm going to take these infantry units and go ahead and charge this trench. We've already lost a lot of guys crossing this ice sheet. But I don't think we can stop. And sure enough, we got another tank over here. It's actually an AT gun. What I'm going to do is take this tank, advance, this tank, advance this way. Sort of separate advances, but pretty much the same idea behind them. And I'm going to take Hyman and aim at the enemy. Again, since this thing doesn't have a movable turret, the STUG can really only see what's pretty much directly in front of them. If they're on a flat surface, they might be able to see for a few hundred meters. But in general, this is a gun that's got to be aimed at the enemy to be able to even spot them. That's certainly the case there. We got another tank, and I'm pretty sure that Stola and Hyman here should be able to destroy him. But we can't be too certain. Let's go ahead and fire. Oh, we got some artillery. Some serious artillery incoming. Come on, boys. Oh, yeah. He's taking some direct hits there in the front. But the STUG is managing to hold on. Nein, Herr STUG, you have to shoot at him. Let's see. No, he's still there. Amazing. Now we should be able to get a hit on him. Oh, why can't he just follow orders, dude? Come on, this way. I see why. He's got a destroyed track. That's why he's been moving really weird. Or track has been shot off. See if the same is true for Stola. I don't think so. So yeah, we're going to stop these guys. We're just going to turn them towards the enemy here. My goal, as I said before, going into this particular fight is try to take out as much of the enemy armor as possible. Because as far as our defensive positions go, if we don't have enemy armor to deal with, we will easily be able to get into this area. And yeah, it looks like Stola had to abandon his tank. I'm going to have the crew here aim at the enemy. And that's the first time I've seen tank crew with an MG42. Although I'm guessing they could have ripped it out of the tank and pretty much just used it as a carry-on. Here we go, guys. Approaching the trench. Close to the enemy's dead tank as well. But this is the danger zone for sure. It's the first time we've gotten up on the enemy's trench line. And I really want to throw in some Stellhandgranate. But of course, it's up to our men. That's their job. Schubert's got to be the hero here, guys. It looks like he's decided to look at the enemy, which is a big start. Here we go, but come on, boys. Come on now. Get that kill. There we go, Schubert. About damn time. Did you guys see that explosion? And a follow-up shot here by this fella. But he looks like he's still moving. That's not a dead tank. Although it certainly should be. There's another hit. And keep in mind, we hit him in the frontal armor. These guys have some pretty thick frontal armor. Even at this distance, we're not cutting through. Come on now, boys. There's another hit. Let's get him. Let's get him. Okay, there we go. Nice. Enemy vehicle crew is evacuating, guys. And, oh, they just went straight to heaven, actually. That guy's not getting back up. At this point, we could advance on that group of enemies right there. Not sure if that's the best idea in the world. What I am going to do is fast move. And again, fast moving over the trench is also not the best idea in the world. And it looks like most of our infantry are already making it into the trench. So let's focus on our infantry for now. Just so that we don't ever back turn towards the enemy, I will aim this way. And of course, target any of the enemies we find on our path to these trenches. That's going to be pretty important because I'm sure they're going to try to defend this with their lives pretty much. Once we make it to their trench line, You know, we're right there on their front lines. It causes a lot of confusion for the enemy. And sure enough, over there at Odivka South, looks like the enemy stopped fighting. Pretty much gave up. If we wanted to, we could take these units here and send them to Shoykos. But I'm just not sure that's the greatest idea in the world. Let's just keep up the firepower. It's actually some pretty effective vehicle crew. They got pistols, they got MG42s. I got to give it to them. I'm kind of impressed. Careful. Yeah, that's a dead Ruski. Before I could even target him, guys, our men turned into mush. And it looks like this was a, I don't know what to call this. Is it it's not a radio operator. It's the guy that brings the radio lines from one part of the battlefield to another. That is a really dangerous job. So I think all enemy armor is killed. I mean, as far as I can tell, unless they're hiding some tanks. But again, that's really good news for us, especially if we can keep these STUGs alive. That's one reason I'm thinking maybe we should grab a few infantry units and move them up. I think we'll be okay, but, you know, maybe we'll do that. Maybe we'll just take, like, some of these units here. And, of course, we'll keep moving up with the rest of our infantry to try and plug up the trench lines here. And it looks like our men are already more than happy to be doing that. Vorwärts, Männer! I think Punzna is inside the trench, kind of. I mean, as far as I can tell, there's no other enemies in that trench. But he just got a pistol here. We came more than prepared to take on enemy tanks, but now it looks like we're slowly but surely running out of room for enemy infantry. You know, we can't just keep moving forward. We've been doing that in most battles. We've held our position. This is kind of the first battle we've been offensive, but we need to reserve enough men to hold against a massive Soviet human wave attack in the future. Alright, folks, we'll return in a bit. Alright, guys, so as you can see, the enemy continues to kind of ping us over here in front. So far as I can see, we've kept all our tanks, not to mention that Stolas' crew has come back to the tank. I'm not sure if we can save it. I think we can, though. We got 3 tanks here capable of saving, and we should be able to leave the battlefield with the rest of them. I don't really want to push my luck and, you know, push deeper into that trench line. What I did do, I'll show you guys over here, was I started moving this group over here to Oritvka. The reason being, if you guys don't see already, I see some enemy contact over there. Our boys over here in the town should be able to spot it too. Nice. Let's see what sort of armament we got there. I think it's just a mortar. Pretty damn effective as long as it hits the target. Come on, boys. One of the guys is down. The loader's down. Come on, get back up. He's okay. You're okay. It's just a flesh wound. Oh, that one is not. There we go. Beam. Oh. Oh. That is a direct hit. Enemy is asking for a ceasefire, and you better bet, man, while I still have the battlefield and the enemy's moving forward, I'm taking it. I am taking it. I'll go ahead and accept it. I don't mind the battle going on for another minute, but it's going to go on for another 30 seconds, and hopefully in that 30 seconds we can rack up a few kills. The fact is, no matter what happens, we are going to take a lot of damage during this battle because of that artillery hit that wiped out all those men on the advance. That was just a perfect placement for the enemy in terms of a shell. They made sure that it counted. That being said, though, we got rid of, I think, every single one of their tanks, and that's hopefully going to help us on the campaign here as we move forward. Oh, beautiful end right there, beautiful end. So it is a total defeat. Many of you guys know, though, that the Graviteam system for defeats and victories is all sorts of messed up, let's be honest here. In terms of losses, we lost 15 men killed, 57 heavily wounded, the enemy 19 men killed, 37 heavily wounded. We lost 3 tanks. They lost 4. fair enough. We have more tanks. We've got 3 STUGs, and I think another tank army arriving eventually. Anyway, guys, as always, if you enjoyed this campaign, please understand, making an entire campaign takes a lot of work. Got to do every single battle here, and even though initially the views are pretty good, they tend to drop off once we get into like episode 5, 6, 7, 8. So make sure to hit that like button to show that you still want to see more episodes, so that I see that there's still people watching this, and make sure to drop a comment down below. Both really help our channel. Obviously, if this is your first time at the channel, you're going to want to subscribe. Catch you on the next one, boys.